My name is Anna Montoya, and I'm a philosophy major at Rollins College with minoring in studio arts.
Ian Wallace, I'm a senior, and I'm an IR major, Asian Studies minor.
I'm Janae Robinson. I'm a theater major.
I'm Sio McCandle. I'm a CMC major and communications minor.
Come on now.
Well, I'm an RA, so all the freshmen are like, what can I do to get involved? I'm like, immersion trips. They're like, what's that? I'm like, it's a great way to get off campus and to just learn about an issue that's either local or global, and not only what the issue is about, but how to solve it and what we can do as students to change it.
It's a chance for you to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see it from someone else's perspective, and maybe not really completely understand what's going on with an issue like immigration or like disability or like homelessness, but for a weekend or for a week you get to see what it's like to live that, and you're impacted by that. And the hope is that from that trip you maybe live your life a little bit differently, or you see things a little bit differently than you did before.
Our topic was immigration, and we headed down to Miami to fully, immerse ourselves into an area that was probably most negatively affected by the topic. And our goal was to explore the perspectives, whether positive or negative, about immigration and how they can affect that area.
And we work with the Farm Workers Association, which mainly deals with rural immigrants. And we helped them by, building a garden, and we had a communal feast together and kind of talked with them, dialogued with them, built relationships.
So basically it was their only means of survival. And sometimes they would go through good times, sometimes they would go through bad times, and we actually got to help them pick some of their crops and help them around their place. So that was a good experience.
And then we spent the rest of the time in Miami itself doing things like working with Haitian students, working with other immigration students, and working in local schools and trying to see what that was like from that experience.
We went to the school and we did some kind of art projects that I think we put on like a theater production with the kids. So we were able to help them develop their characters, help them build their costumes, and at the end we had this performance. So it was really fun for them and fun for us.
And it was just the cutest thing, and just these kids just need somebody to know that somebody's there for them, that we care, and just somebody to sit down with them.
And then seeing one kid who didn't say anything, who didn't really understand English very well, get up at the last day and say, I'm gonna do this one for Janae and CO. I went up there and started doing a little spiel, a little play, and a little speech for everybody like that. It's pretty impactful to see someone who really didn't say anything we didn't connect with, but to have that confidence to go up there and say like that. And I'd like to think it's because we were there.
Community engagement is definitely important, and even though people sometimes see it as not as important because it's someplace further or it's not your own community, it definitely does make an impact that you can bring back home.
So even bringing that element that I learned from the immersion trip into the classroom of theater, I changed, well, not necessarily changed, but I made 7 people more aware of the issue than what they were before. So just doing that piece by piece. I may not be able to go to Congress right now and change because I'm a student, but just spreading the word is really what's important, because word spreads like crazy.
I'm going to go out into the world, and Rollins is adopting this new kind of push for change makers, and our mission, it even reflects that global citizenship, responsible leadership, and that's the mission that I take to heart, and that's something that I want to practice upon being a graduate.
I guess from the trip I kind of learned a little bit more of the role I play in perpetuating the stereotypes with immigration, but also I learned more about what I can do on a daily basis, and it doesn't have to be becoming a social worker and taking my education that way, but it can be making sure that some of the food I eat, whether where I get it from, it comes from a place that pays a fair wage, or comes from a place that doesn't use fertilizer or doesn't use pesticides that injure people that work with it.
The immersion program overall relates to my Rollins experience. In regards to community service, definitely community engagement, making a difference no matter how small or how big it is, whether you go in group, whether you go by yourself. And this is a small college, but with the people in it, we can definitely make a big difference.
Take every experience that you can, especially these kinds of experiences, because you never know how you're going to make your difference. And you very well might find that you're going to go on one of these trips, and years down the line, you're going to make some really lasting impact.